Hello and welcome to this introductory webinar on early stage innovation companies. ESIC is targeted at young companies, primarily under 3 years of age, but in some circumstances, companies up to 6 years of age could be able to participate as an early stage innovation company. These companies will be the traditional client of thousands of Australian accounting firms, not the big four or the top 20, firms like the majority of people who are interested in viewing the material that's been produced by ESS BIZTOOLS. So welcome to this webinar, and I hope that we'll be able to answer your questions about what is involved in being a consultant to assist clients with early stage innovation company. To be eligible, companies must pass 2 out of 3 tests. The first test has to be passed by every company that wishes to be an ESIC, and that is the test time determination. The second test is the gateway test, and if companies do not pass the gateway test, they can then move on to the principles test. We're now going to go to the ESS BIZTOOLS ESIC calculator, which will show you how these various forms, and we'll just go back to the beginning, work to assist you to be able to identify clients that meet the criteria to be an early stage innovation company. The first stage is looking at the name of the company, subsidiaries, date of eligibility. The test time is the date that you're entering the data, and then the financial information. Now, the key financial information is that a company must have income of less than $200,000, excluding any grant income from the Accelerating Commercialisation Grant. The questions there are about the date of incorporation, and did the company and any of its 100% owned subsidiaries, and please note that that's 100% subsidiaries, incur expenses of $1 million in the last income year of less than $1 million. Very important. And the other key question was the company listed on a stock exchange anywhere in the world? Now, if the company passes that test, it can move on. There are then the tests for companies under 6 years of age, which is slightly different. And then there are some tests for a company that might have only been granted an Australian business number in the last 3 years. In some circumstances, those types of companies can also be eligible to be an ESIC. So once the company has passed one of those tests, we can then move into the gateway test. Now, the gateway test has points allocated to correct answers. So the first series of questions relative to the research and development expenditure that the company has undertaken as a percentage of the total expenditure figure. So if the percentage of research and development expenditure exceeded 50% of the company's expenditure, the company can earn 75 points. But if it was between 15 and 50%, the company would earn 50 points. The next question relates to, has this company ever been a participant in the Accelerating Commercialisation Grant program? You need to insert various key information relative to that grant, and then the company can earn 75 points. Has the company completed or is it undertaking an accelerator program? These are special programs that have been approved by Oz Industry on behalf of the Entrepreneurs Program. And there's various information that has to be submitted on that program. The next series of questions relative to, has the company already been able to obtain arm's length investors who have invested an aggregate in excess of $50,000? If so, those details need to be included, and the company can earn 50 points from that. Has the company been able to successfully apply for a patent or a plant breeder's right in the last 5 years? If so, the company can earn 50 points, and details must be included. Has the company been successful in the application for an innovation patent or a registered design? And if so, 25 points can be earned, and all the details need to be included. Does the company have a written agreement with an institution that's listed in the schedule to the Higher Education Funding Act or the Industry Research and Development Act, in which case the company can earn 25 points for one of those registrations? Now, if the total of the points exceeds 100, the spreadsheet will then indicate that your client has qualified under the gateway tests, and on the basis that you wouldn't have moved into this segment unless they had passed the first test, that company has self-assessed as an early stage innovation company. All the documentation must be then filed in an appropriate manner, so it's available for review by potential investors who will be very interested to verify that this process has been undertaken appropriately, because otherwise they will not be able to receive their 20% tax offset, nor be eligible for a potential capital gains tax exemption when they ultimately sell those shares, as long as they hold the shares for longer than 12 months and less than 10 years. The information also needs to be ultimately submitted to the Australian Taxation Office, and they will also be reviewing the verification process that has been undertaken. If the company has failed to qualify under the gateway test, all is not lost, because you can then move into the principles test. Now, the principles test is far more subjective. The company needs to express opinions. And obviously, whenever we express opinions, there can always be another viewpoint. So the key questions are, and there are 5 of them: is the company genuinely focused on developing for commercialization one or more new or specifically improved or significantly improved products, processes or services, or marketing or organizational methods? And if so, the details need to be submitted. These questions are very similar to the questions that are asked in the application forms for accelerating commercialization, which is administered by Oz Industry, who are the co-reviewer of eligibility under ESIC with the tax office. And in the accelerating commercialization grant application, the ATO have indicated that in conjunction with Oz Industry, that answers need to be submitted to cover the questions so that a reader can reach an informed opinion. So our suggestion is perhaps up to about 500 words would be appropriate. Is the business going to have high growth potential for these products and services? Can the company successfully scale this business? Can the company demonstrate that it has the potential to be able to address a broader than local market? And can the company demonstrate that it has the potential to be able to have competitive advantage for that business? If you've been able to answer yes to each of these 5 questions, you have self-assessed that the company is eligible. However, in most cases, potential investors will probably require the company to submit their information, their supporting evidence, to the Australian Taxation Office and Oz Industry for a review by those 2 organisations. Or the directors can voluntarily submit the information, supporting evidence to the ATO and obtain a Australian Taxation Office ruling on eligibility under the ESIC status. So this is the process that we have developed within ESS BizTools to assist you to identify whether a client appears to be eligible for the early stage innovation company process. If you have any further questions relative to early stage innovation company eligibility, please don't hesitate to contact us. Have a great day. Goodbye.